Hi, this is Dr. Richard Ruling, here to share with you on the topic of our highest destiny is found in understanding Christ's wedding parables. This is part 4. We want to see how it is that we are ready for Him and open. In the wedding parable of Luke 12, He promises to make us ruler over all that He has. That's the high destiny, and beaten with stripes if we aren't prepared, which is Christ was the great motivator. He knew He gave us the highest possible reward, and also beaten with stripes is something that we should want to run from. So high motivation to get this. Don't just shrug it off, okay? The wedding parable says to have your loins girded, which is a clue for Passover in Egypt, because they had their loins girded in Exodus 12, verse 11. And it says have your lights burning, which means be proactive in seeking a covenant. When God, as a burning lamp, went between the pieces of the sacrifice in Genesis 15, verse 17, He was the proactive agent, but He wants us to have our lamps burning. We take the initiative for seeking a covenant in this case. And that's how, in the next verse, Luke 12:36, when He comes and knocks, we're to open to Him. I believe the imagery in the next verse following that is about the Feast of Unleavened Bread that occurs at Passover. It says, "Blessed is that servant whom his Lord shall find watching. He will gird himself, make them sit down to eat, and will serve them." That's what Christ did as at the Last Supper, which was the beginning of the Passover week. Passover is defined as a week of unleavened bread, because when they left Egypt at Passover, they ate unleavened bread for 7 days. Okay, and it's a memorial of that. But for us, it's not about crackers. In Matthew 16, verse 12, Christ said, "Beware the leaven of the Pharisees, because they have leavened the bread," the Word of God, and they say, "Oh, you don't need to do Passover, you don't need to do this or that," and so on. Well, our calendar is all screwed up, and we don't know when to watch. We think nobody can know, etc. But God said He won't do anything without revealing it, Amos 3:7, and we're sitting ducks if we just wait and don't know. Okay. Because something's going to happen soon, and we will be on the negative side of it if we aren't looking for it. Basically, that promise in Amos 3:7, I've asked many ministers, pastors, what's the next verse that we should know? If God isn't going to do anything without revealing it, what is it? Well, the next verse, I've only found one minister, actually a teacher of religion at a university, who knew what the next verse was. It's the lion has roared, who will not fear? Well, what's that about? Christ is the Lion of Judah, and when He roars in Joel 3:16, it says that the earth will shake. Okay, so we're talking about earthquake, and it will initiate the end time for America at least. Why do I say America? Because the Laodicean church, which describes America, lukewarm with its materialism, that Laodicean church ended in an earthquake. And I believe it will be a serious event for America when the day of the Lord begins, and we will want to open to Him. To how do we do that will be the topic of our next study. Thank you very much for considering this. We've looked at several wedding parables now, Matthew 25, Luke 12, and in the next passage, part 5, we will be looking at Matthew 22. The invitation to the wedding feast. Thank you.